You're listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Union 0430, episode 130. And we've got our friend, Brian Ellithorpe, coming to us all the way from Northeast Ohio. Northwest?
Yep.
Oh, I heard one of those Western Ohio guys, eh?
Is Ohio big enough to differentiate like one direction or another?
You'd be surprised.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you got for NFL teams? You got the Bengals, you
And
got the
Browns.
Browns.
So Browns are in the Northeast, and then the Bengals are in Southwest.
Don't
Right.
forget about the Blue Jackets.
Blue
And-
Jackets, very right in the middle.
Right in the middle. That's awesome. That's where Columbus, that's where Quack Attack gloves are. They're out of
Yep.
Columbus.
There's a lot of good shit in Ohio.
Well, that's the thing. That's
Hey,
what we
keep that
talked
on the
about.
hush hush there, Dave. People will be showing up.
Well, that's what
Hey,
we talked
That's
about
what
on
we
the
said
show.
last time.
Yeah.
We were talking to Quack Attack, and I'm like, Ohio must be this place that's like magic, and it's just there's something about it. And you fuckers just like, oh, we don't want anyone to come, so
No.
we'll go elsewhere and talk about how great everywhere else is, right?
In
I mean,
fairness,
if you come here during walleye season, you know that it's not a secret.
Like
yeah.
Mad River Outfitters is there, right? They're in
Yeah.
Ohio, Columbus,
I-
right?
Yeah, I think so.
the best ever brown dog to grace the presence of
Oh,
Ontario
Jesus.
came from Ohio.
Mm-hmm. But that, again, because I don't want to fucking play into what Philly is saying here.
You know
and
how
giving them-
someone, you know how you know someone has a good brown dog?
yeah,
They'll fucking
they'll
tell you.
Fucking
Yeah,
tell you.
just wait a minute, because they'll tell you all about it.
Every other person will tell them that their brown dog's a dumbass too.
Oh, I have one of those as well. Trust me.
but
Strong-willed.
You see a hunter with a black dog, and you just know.
strong-willed.
Yeah.
He's an individual.
Anyone can run a black dog.
Yeah, I'm living proof of that.
Yeah. But no, that's a good point, because Dave, you brought it up when you were talking to Mr. Lochner about Ohio, about it being like a lot of good stuff coming out of Ohio. Then you brought up about Mitchell's Bay and stuff, and you're like, no, there's no birds in Mitchell's Bay. I don't want anybody to know about it. And
It
then
was
you
so
talk,
bad in Mitchell's Bay. I didn't hunt there this year.
and then you talk to the guys that are in the Pacific Northwest and and Northern California, and they're all saying the same thing. They're like, this place is amazing, and nobody comes here because everybody thinks Arkansas.
Yeah, and everybody will tell you over there, oh no, it's not that great here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the greatest silhouette decoys made in the world are made in Ohio.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can't
You got
convince
that
me.
right.
You can't convince me that they don't have a good population of birds.
We do.
Right?
I mean, it's
Yeah.
Sandusky.
here's the thing. It's not like I would
Oh.
say as like, you know, this
It's
The
not as
spread of
good
the
as what
states.
everybody
Don't
thinks
come
it is.
here.
no, I was
Yeah.
gonna say the opposite. It's not as bad as everybody says it is, but it's also like not this like crazy destination if you want to hunt puddle ducks. But like we have
Yeah.
a lot of people that come here for divers and stuff like
Right.
that. Because
Yeah,
you're on the big
Sandusky.
water. Sandusky Bay. There's a guide in Sandusky Bay that like specifically does redheads and canvasbacks when they come in. So he's busy for like 3 weeks and then it's done.
Like Ohio's also got to be like good location wise, because you can get to a lot of places pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of like what I say about London, Ontario. Like living in London is shitty, other than the fact that you're like an hour and a half from Mitchell's Bay, an hour and a half from Long Point. So it's kind of
Right.
good in that sense. So Ohio, like you probably can get to a lot, like you can get to Maryland pretty quickly, and like all these other places, right?
You're about, yeah, you're within like 10 hours of a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Like you're a
also,
one-day
there's
drive.
there's a lot of shipping hubs that are in like Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, because it's very central to everything.
Right. Right.
So like UPS, FedEx, everything is like, there's a lot of big hubs for that. Like I think Bowling Green, Kentucky is the biggest UPS or FedEx hub in the States, just because it's central to everything.
I'm pretty sure on my trip to Missouri, I saw like FedEx Airport.
Every airport, there's a terminal for FedEx, UPS.
Yeah, like
They're starting to
Dur-
have them for Amazon.
Like they have their own like fucking plane.
Oh yeah,
Every-
yeah,
I'm,
yeah.
oh, yeah,
I'm, driving,
all
I'm
of
driving
it.
down the
Yeah.
highway and I'm like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah. It's crazy. Yeah, I mean it's cool. Like we've got a lot of different things. Like we're really good. Like our southern half of the state is really good for like turkey, whitetail, and then up on the lake is good for fishing, diver ducks. You know, it's just it's a hodgepodge, I would say.
Oh, that's it sounds like an outdoorsman or
Person.
an outdoors person. I just
Here it
thinking
is.
about our wonderful prime minister and our political correctness that we have to fucking deal with up here. Anyways, but it sounds
As
like
you were.
no, like Ohio. It is, man. Like you think about it, we're a couple, 5 fucking hacks from Canada, that got a podcast, and between Real Geese, Quack Attack, and you, that's I don't know of any other state where we've got three guests that that are contributing to the waterfowling world. I guess, like, so you have your own media thing, Brian, and then
Yeah.
there's Real Geese, and then there's Quack Attack gloves. And Ohio's not a big state,
No,
it's-
and before it got sold, we had Avian X was 40 minutes from here. Zinc calls.
I didn't know.
Yeah,
I didn't.
Fred Zink's from Ohio.
I didn't know that.
Yep.
I
Yeah,
didn't
and there's
know
a
that.
lot
Originated.
of there's a lot. I mean, if you look into it, there's a lot of stuff out of Ohio that is part of waterfowl or like the outdoors in general.
Joe Burrow, man. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, and then I mean, but if you think about it too, like you guys had Brad Hurlboss on, and like he's from Wisconsin. They got upland up there. They've got great fishing, great hunting. It's just
Way better than Ohio. Don't go to Ohio. Go to Wisconsin.
yeah. Everybody go talk to Brad if you want to go
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yeah. In fact,
That's
Brad's GPS coordinates where he hunt, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly.
Before all of yous jumped on, and I was just sitting here, and this has absolutely nothing to do with waterfowl hunting, but
Perfect.
as I was pouring up my rum, I always have Pepsi. Who's a Coke fan? I don't know anybody that's a Coca-Cola fan. Is that a newfie thing, Merc? Pepsi?
What? No, whenever I drank hard liquor, it was rum and Coke.
Coke?
Yep.
I'm a
I couldn't
Pepsi
have
guy.
rum and
Like, I
Coke.
can't drink Coke.
I'm a Pepsi fan,
Pepsi.
Yeah,
but when I used to drink hard liquor, it was rum and Coke.
I'm Pepsi all the way. Dave,
Yeah.
I'm whatever's the cheapest. I don't give a shit.
you're adding nothing to this debate.
If this is your glass, there's only this much Pepsi anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Just
True.
enough for color.
Brian, what are I
can go
suppose
back
you're
and
probably not a
forth.
cola guy, are you?
Oh,
I mean, I go back and forth. I don't drink a lot of pop soda,
Yeah.
by itself. But like if I have like Captain Morgan, it's
Yeah.
generally with Pepsi, and then for whatever reason, if I do Jack, it's Coke.
Huh.
I don't know why.
anytime I go to a restaurant, though, it's a liter of cola. That's all I say. I don't give a shit what they
Really?
give you.
Just
Cola.
give me a
Liter of
liter.
cola.
Okay,
Cola.
Farva.
No matter
Hey,
what one you
Farva.
pick, they're gonna say it's
I'm
the
glad
other one
someone
that they
picked
got.
up on that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Farva. Happiness in your household? Did anybody get that joke?
Life is happiness in your
Your
asshole.
asshole. Pardon me.
Penis.
Happiness in your asshole.
Glittering
Happiness in your
eggs.
asshole.
Glittering egg.
That's funny. Brian, we were chatting the other day, because obviously you were chatting with the crowd from Quack Attack and stuff like that. But you had mentioned that is your season still going on, or are
We
you
have
done
Late
now?
Goose.
Yeah.
So we have late goose until next weekend for the upper half of the state. The lower half of the state has ducks in until the end of this weekend, and then they have 2 weeks of late goose as well.
And only one bird a day?
No, it's
Oh,
still
okay.
so we can shoot 5 this. I think it was last year it started that you could shoot 5 geese a day, and that's 6 ducks.
Oh, okay. I thought you
Yep.
said I thought you said something like I'm
Same
going
here.
out for one goose or something. I thought I read that, but
I'd be
that was-
happy to just get one at this point. For whatever reason, it's just been real tough down here. So
Really?
even just one. I mean, anytime I go out, if I shoot something, I'm happy. So it doesn't
Right.
really bother me. But yeah, for whatever reason, I mean, it snowed the last 2 days,
Mhm.
and generally that helps if we're in fields for goose hunting. But there just hasn't been like for what it seems like for the last like week and a half, they've just started moving out. So
okay.
I don't
Did
know.
did you guys get any of that Texas low that just came in? Like we got dumped with a pile of snow last night. Did you guys get any of that?
We got snow. Yeah, it started yesterday, like midday. And
Yeah.
Yeah, we got like 2 or 3 inches.
Oh
which is
no, we had a
average,
foot of
you
snow
know.
last night.
Oh, you got a foot?
Yeah, we had a foot of
Yeah.
snow. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
No, ours is like a dusting pretty much.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. That got
Um,
cold.
like-
An adequate amount you had, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
It was 2 to 3 inches pretty average. I'd
Adequate,
say.
right? Yeah, you don't have to brag about 12 inches.
You should see what I consider 12 inches.
12 inches.
Yeah.
I've always heard
Dam-
6 inches
Damien-
about like that.
Damien's a true fisherman.
Yeah, you should see what I consider 12 inches. That's funny. But that's cool. Like I've been on Facebook the last couple days, and there is a lot of waterfowl gear and puppies for sale right now.
No,
So, yeah.
no. If you look at those like all the outdoor gear pages,
Yeah.
it's a lot of scammers right now.
Oh, is it really?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of
Yeah.
scammers like that. If you look at the pictures, you'll
Yeah.
be like, man, I thought I saw this before. It's because they're using the same pictures over and over to try and scam people.
Oh, really? Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't
they
know
think
that.
us hunters are fucking stupid or something.
What were you
Uh,
searching?
There ain't nothing for sale.
No.
No.
It's yeah, the Avian X, the 6-pack of Avian X's in Windsor or whatever.
Yeah.
It's the same picture and like 4 different guys' names. And you're
Oh,
like, oh, wait a minute. Yeah, so it's pretty crazy the scamming that's going on right now, right?
oh,
I saw there was a Sitka website where they were like, they created a whole website for it to sell used Sitka gear, and they're selling it through Facebook, but it's all scam.
really?
It's like
Yeah.
there's also another scam. I've been doing a lot of research on videography, and then there was a scam that popped up, and it's sign up for our videography classes, and you go on and there's like no contact. It's claiming that it's a college, and it's like,
Really?
yeah, you're supposed to sign up and send them a deposit to get going on. I'm like,
Oh, yeah,
this
sure.
this seems
That's
shit. Yeah,
weird.
Mm.
Yeah.
like I'm not a smart man, but
Well, I tell you,
Ask Sam Marty.
well, I tell you, you say that, Dave, but I don't know if I told you this story. I'm pretty sure I told you, Dave, but a couple years ago when the new PlayStation was coming out, my son wanted a new PlayStation, right? So, and they were extremely hard to come by. So my nephew had told me about this friggin' dude, and his handle was through Twitter. And my nephew's he was a smart kid, right? He was probably 18, 19 at the time. And he was like, this guy's got him that they're not ripping people off. You'll save probably a couple bucks, but it's out of the States. Anyways, total fucking scam. And they got, I don't know, probably $400 from me. But a total scam, but they were set up like there was never once did the light bulb go off and say, this seems a little bit sketchy, until, I had said, hey, can I get the tracking number? Yeah. Shipping just increased and we need more money. And then I was like, hold on, fuckface. Something's not right here. But they were smart enough to pull it over my eyes to get a couple $400 out of me, I think it was. So
Oh,
be careful out there.
did I ever tell you about that call? They call your house and they tell you like, oh, your computer's got viruses or whatever.
Yeah.
So this was well, it was when the Other Guys movie came out, right? And so my son's on the couch. I get the phone call and I'm like, hello. And they're like, hello, sir, you have a virus on your computer. I'm like, just started swearing at him. Fuck you, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy's like, hey, you fuck you. He says it back to me.
Yeah.
So the Other Guys movie I just finished watching it. So I
Yeah.
used the whole line about like, listen, if I want you to talk, I'll shove my hand up your ass and use your mouth like a puppet. Fuck you. And I'm going on, right?
Yeah.
Never thought anything of it. 2 days later, it was the weekend and in-laws show up. Hey, Nana, Daddy told the guy on the phone that he's going to shove his hand up his ass and use his mouth like a puppet. Like,
Awkward.
I thought you were sleeping, you little bugger.
Oops.
Yeah, but I meant every
Ruh-roh.
word I said.
Sponges.
Yeah.
How impressed was Stacy?
No.
Yeah. No.
Good point.
That's a big negatory on the Rajometer.
Hey, I just want to point out that's not the biggest thing I've done to disappoint her. I swear a lot. Yeah.
That's good. Brian, I wanted to ask you because I haven't had a chance to ask you, and knowing the relative proximity that you have to Toronto, are you making a trip up to the Toronto Sportsman Show this March?
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I can tell you that a certain silhouette decoy maker will be making the trip.
Well, I can probably just stand out my door and hitchhike then. If
Yeah.
he'd be coming right past me. So
Yeah.
maybe I'll have to talk to him, see
Yeah,
if
you
he's
will.
heading up there. I wouldn't mind going up there. I haven't been to like any. We have the Point Moulet Waterfowl Festival here in Michigan.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing that I've been to. Like, we haven't had anything around us. Like, I think that sportsman show that Quack Attack did last weekend was in Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
It was like 2.5 hours away.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to it if I can finagle it for sure.
I'm just
It's a little
saying.
over 6 hours.
And that's what we keep Merck for.
GPS guy.
Well, he's on the ball with that. You don't have to ask. He's got initiative.
You want to know how far away Texas and California are from each other? Mark knows. Yeah.
There's a state
No,
in
but-
between.
Apparently they're not together.
That's awesome. But
You guys having a booth there?
oh yeah. Well, we're
Yeah.
doing. Well, this is an excellent opportunity for me to talk about it. Thank you.
There you go.
Excellent question, Brian.
More
Thank you
importantly,
very
when,
much.
When is the Sportsman Show? Like,
The
it's actual physical
16th
days.
till the 19th of March. And it's
Nice.
in
It's like
and-
my whole weekend off.
yeah. And so it's down in Toronto, right next, so very close to the airport. You're not downtown Toronto, so if anybody's worried about that, not too crazy to get into. But so what had happened, Brian, is last year when we went, so me, Dave, Merrick, and Phil went last year, and we set up a booth, but there was next to nothing there for waterfowlers. Like, I think the only thing that was there was Dive Bomb had a little booth.
Okay.
They had a little booth, and there was a guide there. And I'd never heard tell of the guide either. So,
In
but
fairness, the show was locking. All over.
yeah,
In
so it's-
general.
yeah, so there was nothing there for waterfowlers. So in the summer, we approached the general manager with this idea of like, hey, listen, why don't you dedicate some real estate for us to bring in some waterfowl hunting companies, and we'll call it the Refuge. So they jumped on board and they were like, yeah, of course, sounds like a great idea. So right now, Real Geese would be there. Ducks Unlimited Canada's coming. Delta Waterfowl is coming. Stoger Canada is coming. We'll be there. There's a couple other that I really can't talk about because they're sort of kind of in the mix and still waiting to hear back from them if they're going to be able to make it or not. But promises to be a good time. The thing is that I don't know if it's like this in the States, and by no means am I trying to insult anybody, but I don't think it's like it in the States. But it seems like it's the case here in Canada is that when we have these shows, these, you know, these outdoor shows and anything like this, people will show up and then they'll be like, oh, it's stupid. It was junk. There wasn't nothing there. But yet the people complain about the cost to get in, or they don't spend any money. And I get it. Like, money is hard to come by and everybody works hard for their friggin' money, but vendors aren't going to come in if they're not going to make any money either. Right. Like it's a double-edged sword. So, so I'm just hoping, I'm hoping that it's going to be a success this year, and then we can continue to build on it. Right. Because the plan, in a perfect world, it would be a bunch of people beating down our doors next year to get in there. Right. But yeah, that's the plan. So anybody that's listening, that's in Ontario, please, we'd love to see you. Philly will be there. Dave will be there. Mark won't be there this year because he now lives in Nova Scotia, but we'll be there, and we're there for the whole time. So it'll be good to see.
There a few days.
It'll be good to see everybody again. We met a lot of people last year, a ton of people. It was a good year. It was a good time last year, but I'm just saying, Brian, maybe you want to make a trip up, bud.
I would not be opposed to it. Let me check my schedule.
Oh, this is Mr. Big Time now, eh? Has Eric Massey on his podcast, and him and Eric Massey are planning out their takeover.
You know that wouldn't have been possible without me even being on this show. So that comes back to you guys.
No, absolutely not. That's all you, buddy.
You.
Oh, stop.
Yeah.
No, but that just goes to show the quality of person that Eric Massey is, right? Like you said, what'd you say? Like you guys were on the chatting for like 3 hours or something?
I was way more than that. It was probably 4.5 hours.
Really?
Just talking about anything. And like, I almost felt bad, like that the episode that I put out was so long because it was an hour and 45 minutes. Like that's a lot for somebody to sit down and listen to. But I mean, we talked about some really cool stuff. We went through all the stuff that he's been involved with Tangle Free and kind of how he got to that point. But then also just like this show, just kind of bounce around different topics. And we started talking about, you know, just like even the responsibilities of putting any sort of content out on social media. You know, I mean, there's just a lot of things that people are watching, and you know, if you're putting out bad content, you're teaching the wrong thing, you know, that's your responsibility. You can go home and see what you're doing, you're editing it, you know, and putting out content. And it was I thought that was a pretty good message, and that was right at the end, so anybody that made it to the end heard that. But if they didn't make it to the end, I don't blame you, because it was a long one, but it was cool.
No, and it's a good message. Like, not too bad that you waited until the end to talk about it, but at least you talked about it. But it's something that we've been trying to talk about on here ever since day one is if you're not doing positive things or making sure that you're everything is kosher, you're really hurting yourself. So I know and we all know the names of people that are putting out nothing but junk and trouble. And I think some of it's on purpose. And I know Dave has said to me before, he was like, there's no way that guy doesn't know that what he's doing is wrong. He's just doing it just to get the views, right?
Well, there's people that do that. And I mean, controversy kind of brings anybody in. So like, you know, it comes back to the whole no publicity is bad publicity thing, but it is. I mean, if you're talking about a sport where you're dealing with firearms, like it's deadly. You're in bad situations with water. I mean, you're in freezing cold water, and at any point you can flip a boat and be in a hypothermic situation in less than a minute. And it's like there's a lot of things that people just overlook, and a lot of people these days are learning about waterfowl through the internet.
Whether it's right or wrong. And I try to be as conscious as I possibly can about what I'm putting on the internet. And it's not even like I don't have a huge influence, but there are people that it has influence. So I try and keep, you know, even if it reaches one person and I teach them the wrong thing, I'm not going to, that doesn't sit well with me. but exactly like what you were saying, like some of the videos you're putting out, like I don't see everything, but everything I've seen, like great quality birds coming in, like doing everything at the right time and all that stuff. You might have some beautiful videos and stuff and edited perfectly, and you might get 30 views or 100 views, right?
Right.
But if I went to a golf course with Damien and he filmed me with an iPhone 8 using my gun as a golf club to hit a bird, I would get more views. You know what I mean? Like,
Right, exactly.
Because
You'd have to show a little bit of
Controversial.
skin
And then-
too, Dave.
what's that?
You got to show a little bit of skin.
Well, hey,
You
it's
know
not
what?
gonna work with me.
But so we can go back to that, but I want to add this. So this, what you just said, Phil, you got to add a little bit of skin. Do you know what I've noticed is that the female hunters that are
I
out
believe the
there,
huntresses.
whatever, hunters, huntresses, whatever they prefer to be called. I'm not seeing any of that bullshit anymore where they're half naked. It is like these are girls, females that are hunters, huntresses, whatever you want to call them, that are doing it on their merit. Like they're killing birds or they're killing animals. They're hunting, and it's not tits and ass that's getting them their followers.
Well, I think a lot of people looked through all that too, because they got to the point where they're like, well, you can see tits and ass in anything else. But this is waterfowl, and we want to see birds. We want to see dogs. And we don't care about your ass. I want to see a dog get a speckle belly. Like, I don't care. And so like at that point, like if you don't have anything to stand on, I don't care. I'm not watching anymore. So like, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Macy Watkins. She's out of Georgia. She puts a lot of stuff on TikTok. She has like a media company, the Redneck Tech podcast, which is mostly about like cameras and filming and that kind of stuff. They had her on to talk about it. And she's like, I don't wear bikini tops or anything like that. She's like, I don't feel like that. I don't feel comfortable putting that on the internet, but she is a sports woman through and through. And that's what everybody wants to see.
Of course. There's a girl, Kate, I think she's in Washington. She does Kate Borals, I think is her name.
She's she does a lot of real geese stuff.
But she's Kate Bow and Arrow is her handle. But like the quality of stuff that she's putting out, and even you look at her at here in Ontario, guys, when you look at Lori Ann Horse, the stuff that she's putting out good stuff there, and you're seeing it all across now, especially in the big game world. Here in Canada, I don't think we're seeing a ton of girls in the waterfowling world here in Canada, but in the big game world, we're starting to see more and more ladies, and a lot of them partnering up with their husbands, boyfriends, whatever, and they're putting together these channels, which are being a huge hit because it's a couple that's out hunting, and they're
right.
They're doing it on their own for the most part, and and they're doing it right, and they're trying to educate, and they make mistakes, obviously, like we all would, but I
want to see more people build themselves off non-guided hunts.
Well, I don't mind the guided. It's like if you're trying to.
A lot of it's look at me, where these people have done zero fucking work. None. You're a figure in front of the camera.
Well, yeah.
And that's what's selling. You've done zero fucking work, sweetheart. You've done no scouting.
I think you could apply. I think you could apply that to even a lot of the men that are out.
Oh yeah, people in general.
Right.
I want to see people base it off doing their own legwork.
Yeah.
That's what I want to see.
But
not just a face in front of a camera.
But don't you think that's so let's use like a big company. So, and we don't need to say a name or anything and put anybody on the spot, but let's say a big company that's in the waterfowling world. If they're going to a different part of the country, chances are they're going with a guide. Like they're not freelancing when they're going to a different part of the country, be it in Canada or in the States. They're going with a guy. You look at Ramsey Russell. Like Ramsey Russell has shot more ducks in more places. And I bet you, I don't know. I shouldn't say it, I suppose, because I don't really know the man, but I would hazard to guess that a lot of times these places that he's going, he's linking up with a guide. I don't think he's doing everything freelancing. So there's something to be said about, I think if all your content is only guided hunts, Philly, I believe you. I think you're 100% right.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's lots of people who do shows where they're going around to all these different places and they're going with guides and whatnot, but they have a hunting background beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Or when they're not doing shows, they're hunting in their local neck of the woods.
Right.
But Phil's right. There are people who just hunt with guides.
Yeah.
Like they're paying people to make them look good.
Yep.
Because otherwise they don't know up from left.
Mm.
And that I got no patience for.
Why can't we all just get along? Dave, what are you thinking? You're thinking something.
Nope. I'm still trying to figure out whether it's hunt people or hunters and huntresses, or I forgot everything. Since then.
You know what?
I got to call Trudeau and ask him.
Yeah.
Like you can't say sports person.
You can't say sports
because
person.
son is, you're cutting out all the girls. You say son.
If they are girls.
If they are girls.
Oh Jesus,
Yeah,
this is a rabbit hole.
So Brian,
Yeah.
I identify as a helicopter.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, here we go.
Of course, the cop.
Yeah, of course, the cop.
Who?
Yeah.
So, Brian,
Yeah.
How about that local sports team?
how about what kind of camera do you use?
I have all I use all Nikon mirrorless cameras.
Yeah.
Oh,
So I have two of the Z6. I have the Z6 and the Z6 II full frame that I use for like all of my photos, and then anything commercial wise that I'm filming with. And then I have the Z50, which is a crop sensor, and then I bought the new Z30 that's a crop sensor as well, but they call it it's Nikon's new content creating camera. It's got built-in stereo microphone on it. It's got the swivel screen so you can flip it to do vlogs and stuff. And that's what I use for YouTube, is the Z30. And then all of those cameras, I end up using them for weddings and stuff. And I like them because the mirrorless sensor is really nice for low light. It's really good for video. And I started with Nikons, so when they came out with the Z platform, I just moved into that.
So Brian, keep talking about the cameras and do a good job on talking about how they are, and try and sell Dave into buying one.
I just bought the GoPro, the new GoPro. But
Is
then
that the 11?
No, the 10 last year I bought. I didn't hunt this year, right? So I kind of I had the camera gear for this fall, but I didn't hunt. So but no, the thing that I've noticed, well, the two things I noticed, one is like the vlogging style camera and camera equipment, like the ZV-1, the ZV-E10, and like the features that are specific to vlogging and product reviews have really evolved over the last 2 years, right?
Yeah.
Like the ZV-1 now, it's like you can, if I'm doing a review on my phone, I can put my phone up to the camera and it'll automatically refocus on the product, like you said, at the product review. And it's pretty amazing, some of these cameras. But the other thing I saw is with the GoPro 11, they're basically saying that the GoPros are useless now. You might as well just use your cell phone.
That's the thing, is like I actually have I have an iPhone 13 mini. That was my old work phone. When I switched jobs, they never asked for it back, so I didn't give it to them. And so I use that as like I keep it in my waiter pocket. Yeah. Because I generally keep my phone in like my chest pocket, and then my waiter pocket, I keep that cell phone. And if something's happening real quick, I pull that out and I just start filming with that instead of because I have a big waterproof case that I keep my cameras in. And normally I bring a full frame with a big lens, and then I have that Z30 with a smaller lens on it for, whatever. But if there's not enough time for me to grab that and like be filming my dog getting a retrieve, or like us moving decoys, or just something, some B-roll type stuff, I just pull out my phone.
Yeah.
And then since I edit on a Mac, I can airdrop all those clips to it and it's fast.
Yeah.
But the GoPro, with it being, so I have a GoPro 8 that I use for my head cam, and like that stabilization when you're shooting is so nice, because I have a Hero 5 that I use as like a extra camera that I put like either on the blind, or I put it on like a tree limb somewhere facing into the decoys. And that thing's stabilization sucked. It made it look like you could get sick looking at the shots when I used to use that, because it just shake like crazy. The GoPros, I think that they're nice because there's modes on them that help people that are making videos. So like I use the GoPro on a loop. So it's a 5-minute loop and it just keeps recording. So instead of having like a 5-hour amount of footage to go through, if we have 5 volleys of birds, I only have 25 minutes of footage to go through. So it not only saves my memory cards, it saves me time editing. And then I put like a elastic strap on the back of it, of the back of the head strap. And then I put a USB external battery on it, so I don't have to change out the little GoPro batteries.
And
So when I
a
put
lot of-
that thing on, I don't touch it. I only touch it to turn it on and off or stop the loop clip.
a lot of fishermen are using the chesty rig, and then they're putting
Yeah.
the battery pack inside of it, right? And
Yeah.
they're getting like 4 or 5 hours. The GoPro 7, I don't know if I have mine here. Yeah, the GoPro 7 has an attachment that you can put. It's this great big battery pack now.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
And it just lasts for, I think it's like 6 or 7 hours.
Yeah.
So-
I buy Amazon has these, I think they call them like pencil chargers or something. And they're just like these tiny little ones. I don't know if I have one around, but I mean, they're this big.
Yeah.
So this just sits on the back of my head. You can't even see it. I can barely feel it. But with this on, I don't change out the battery for 6 hours.
Wow.
So if
There's
I'm
like-
hunting, they're only $5 a piece on Amazon. So it's like I just bought 4 of them. I keep extra ones charged in my bag, and I can record for the whole hunt and not have to worry about batteries.
Now,
Like there's a number of muskie channels that I follow on YouTube, and these guys have their boats like 5-6 GoPros,
Right.
and they're like legit using like cordless drill
Yeah.
batteries. You can
Yeah.
get adapters and stuff for the GoPros, and they run these like the Milwaukee batteries and whatever.
Yep.
And, like,
Yeah, a
they'll-
lot the rigid
Film all
batteries
day.
have a USB that you like slide on the top of it, like you would like if you're sliding into a drill.
Yeah.
It's just a USB out. And
Mhm.
you can do that. I mean, they have the Anchor makes a really nice external battery that lasts like, I think it's a 10,000 milliamp hour or something. It's like $20. And I keep that in my bag too to charge everything else. And so like I have anywhere from 6 to 8 external battery chargers in my bags at all time. And I don't worry about batteries dying, but especially when it's cold, it's nice because those GoPro batteries only last like 25 minutes if it's cold.
And if you're recording in HD or 4K, whatever.
Yeah, 4K
mod-
will take up more than the 1080p, and then yeah, if it just depends on the
Brian,
temperature.
like, so here's my problem. So, and this is something that Dave and we chat about a lot. And it's capturing content. So we chat about it a lot, about we need to get more content. And that's always a chat that we have. We need to get more content. Dave is good at getting content. I'm fucking horrible at getting content because I like shooting birds.
Yeah.
And I don't like how much does it disrupt your hunt to be
It doesn't.
captured? It doesn't.
If you ask anybody that I'm hunting with, they don't even realize that I'm filming half the time. we'll do something and I'll be like, oh, that's going to be some really good footage. And they're like, I didn't even realize that you were recording anything. So
And
I try
that's
and
just-
keep it candid. Like I
Right.
I don't like sticking cameras in people's face. To be honest with you, I don't even like having the camera pointed at me.
Right.
So like if there's, if somebody's dog is running, I'll be out there with the big camera taking pictures of it. If my dog's running, I'll be out there taking nice pictures, all that. But like for the most part, like I'm not sticking cameras in people's face. I have a camera on my head, I have a camera somewhere else, and then I have my shot cam. So like
Right.
I like that style. I know that people always say like, oh, I hate watching GoPro video because it just looks like a dot and all that. And it's like, that's why I added the shot cam this year so that you can see those tight shots. But then I'm not sacrificing the fact that I want to shoot birds. Because that's the big thing is, I want to be out there and I want people to see that first person footage of us shooting divers or shooting puddle ducks or geese or whatever it is. And there's just like, especially on YouTube, there's kind of two lanes where people have gone this like cinematic route where they want to just get a person dedicated on a big camera, getting birds coming in, getting them tight and having these like really close kill shots. But then you've also got the other lane, which is like vloggers doing POV stuff. So you've got like Outdoor Limits on YouTube, Poke Outdoors, High Prairie Sportsman,
Hushin.
And so like
Austin, yeah.
yeah, and so like there's just all these other guys that are kind of doing the same thing that I'm doing, or I'm doing the same thing they're doing, or whatever. And I like that style more because it's real.
I think and it's funny that you say that because I think because I say this to Dave all the time. I'm like, we need a dedicated camera guy. And Dave's like, no, we don't need a dedicated. Dave is very much like you. And then I'm like, I think we need like a cinema, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even between Dave and I, there's the two lanes, right?
Right.
But I would have thought the same. Like if you approached me about that 3 years ago, I would have been like, yeah, you're right, because like I got to shoot the birds. But then both my kids became the age where I couldn't shoot if they were shooting,
Right.
Yeah.
but I could shoot a camera. And
Right.
then I started like, I think the biggest hindrance I had 2 years ago was that I was thinking it was more complicated than rocket appliance, but really it's not. Like break
It's not
it down.
rocket appliances, Ricky.
No, it's super simple, right? Like
I love it. I love it.
just start recording your shit. And
Yeah.
if he, like, I think it was Phil was the one that changed my mindset this past year, or when we did the hunt with First Light there.
Yeah.
And he's just like, yeah, I'll take like 300 shots and I might get 5.
Right.
Well, I'll take 300 minutes of film and I might get 5.
Exactly.
Right.
But a film nowadays, pretty much 99% of the world has ADD. So you only want 5 minutes of film because they're not going to watch. They're not going to watch 11.
Yeah.
Well, so like
good point.
this is not waterfowl specifically related, but like when I do work for companies and they want to do like social media work, like if they want me to film something for social media, I tell them like, I can make you something, but I wouldn't do more than like 30 seconds because people have the attention span
Yeah.
of a puppy, and it's like you can't give them these 5-minute videos, especially like on Facebook or TikTok or Instagram, because they're scrolling. Their finger is just like, it's time to move.
Yeah.
On YouTube, it's a little different. There's channels. So like my YouTube is just like my Spotify, like it's all over the place. But for the most part, if I'm watching waterfowl videos, I'm good at like the 8 to 10, 12 minute mark. For whatever reason, I can watch somebody remodel or like fire up an engine on a car. I'll watch it for an hour and a half. I don't care. But like when it comes to waterfowl stuff, it's like my attention span now is at that 10-minute mark. I mean,
you see that YouTube video of the guy with the like 12 or 14 foot John boat and the 200 horse motor on it?
I literally watched that yesterday.
That's awesome.
It was a 14-foot flat bottom that they took a 20 horse long tail motor off of it, and he had a bass boat that they were trying to like nobody wanted to buy the bass boat, so they just wanted the motor. And he's like, well, I'll show you guys the motor. And he takes it off. He welded on this like 4-foot piece of metal with a throttle on it. And yeah, he said that it was going like 45 miles an hour or something.
Was it Tim the Tool Man Taylor and going rawr, 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 as he fucking
he might as well have been
the Binford 6100.
The Binford, yeah.
Because it's 200 horse Mercury on a 14-foot flat bottom John boat, and it's like it was pretty gnarly. But yeah, that video. So he has
a lot
like
more ass than 45 miles an hour.
No, that was at half throttle. He was doing.
Yeah, he couldn't go full throttle because the
he
thing
couldn't do
just go,
full
whoop.
throttle. Yeah, because it was.
Oh, here we
Yeah,
go.
right here.
There we go.
Yeah. I don't know if we
Yeah.
can.
Looks a little bottom heavy there.
For anyone looking, YouTube
actually-
running at 200 horsepower. Yeah.
Yeah, he actually. They sunk it.
Clapped out customs. I love it. 200.
Okay, that's good. We don't want
Big
that.
motor on a
That's 10
little
minutes.
boat.
Wow. But I wanted to go back to that point that you made, Brian and Dave, where you guys had said, you know, like this short attention span, right? So like most people want to see that, you know, 30 seconds, 2 or 3 minutes, or even 8 to 10, like you said, Brian.
Yeah.
But then you look at a YouTube channel like, say, Heartland Waterfowl, right?
Mhm.
Like those guys that are down, I think they're in Kansas, right? Or what borders Kansas to the west? I don't know. Anyways, they're down
Texas.
close.
They're down there. Yeah. It might be
Texas.
Arkansas.
Yeah, maybe.
They're close one to one or the other.
Yeah.
Let's
But,
Google that.
But like you look at those guys, like they've got a dedicated dude that does their editing. Like a lot of the videos that you see of Heartland Waterfowl that show up on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, that's all just a dude on his way back from a hunt that he's editing on his phone and putting that out. But then the stuff that they're doing on their YouTube channel, that's an hour. That's some of that stuff is long, right? And
Well, they do long form like TV style
Yeah.
because they're on the Outdoors channel. So they're
Right.
on Outdoor Sportsman's channel. That's
Fair.
where those are.
right,
But they're double dipping. So they're taking and they're putting it on TV, but they're also putting it on YouTube.
right.
So they have a full like film crew.
Okay,
same
well,
as,
I'll
you know,
just shut up.
everything
then.
else.
Thanks, Brian. I'll just shut up then.
But I mean, if you have that dedicated, you know, if you have somebody dedicated to filming it,
Yeah,
like a lot of these big YouTube channels, when they start to get traction, they hire somebody so that they don't have to worry about the camera at all. They just do their
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
But for somebody, you know, like me, I don't have that capability to be paying somebody to be doing that.
right.
Would I love the quality of it? Absolutely. But it's also
But you
it
also
strays
like
from what I'm starting,
Right.
what I like to film. Like
Mhm.
I think it's cool to have, you know, the banter and the blind from like my perspective instead of it being a camera in somebody's face. You know, it's what I like, and not everybody's gonna like that, and that's okay.
absolutely.
I made another mistake there. I was watching a lot of like seminars on how to do YouTube videos and how to vlog and shit. And then it was pointed out to me that by a local guy, he said, there's a guy's doing a seminar on making money with realty right now, right? Like how to be a realty investor locally, just a guy we all know. And I'm not going to say his name, but he's
Yeah,
never going to watch this anyway.
yeah.
But he says, why wouldn't you go to that show? And I said, because the guy got fucking lucky. And he says,
Right.
well, do you know how many people get lucky on YouTube? Just start filming your shit and putting it on there.
Yeah.
You'll learn every time you put something up there, you're going to learn something. Every time you edit, you're going to learn something. When we tried to do that Christmas video, Damien sent me a video from his cell phone and it wouldn't work. And I'm like, I can't edit this. So I had to use my cell phone to edit all the videos and put it together. And I couldn't use the editing software. Well,
Yeah.
it turns out that there's a known thing and how to fix it. Like you're going to learn something every time. It's just a
Yeah.
matter of getting out and doing it, right? Like you're not going to go out and shoot a limit on your first day solo hunting. You're not
Right.
going to get 1 million views on your first YouTube video. So guys, if you're looking into doing it, just get your shit out there and do it.
Well, you look
It
at
can't
Jeff
hurt.
Coates. Like Jeff Coates have said to us how many times? Content. Just
Right.
just get it out there. Get it
Yeah.
out there and Not taking anything away from our friends from Hushin, but like look at Hushin, Dave?
Yeah.
Like those guys, they put content out there and one great hunt, the magical hunt that they captured, and things just blew up for them after that one hunt, right? And lucky enough, they captured it and then they put it out and people went nuts for it.
And look
Right.
at that. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hushin, but look at if Casey didn't have that. So for people that don't know, Casey was shooting the fireball. That was their first big thing, was the fireball. And that fireball he shot, and it didn't go down the first time, and he went back to the same spot. If he didn't start recording there, he would have never got the fact that that thing came back in exactly the same, and he got it, and the emotion and the, like, that's one of my favorite YouTube videos is them shooting that fireball. That's for me.
So the moral of this story is anybody that's watching, listening, subscribe to us, subscribe to Brian. And even though Brian's a way bigger deal than what we are, but
No.
let's poach some of his subscribers. So we'll take a little bit of everybody. Yeah.
And the other thing to take away from this is, in the words of Ronda Rousey, don't be a do nothing bitch. Just do something.
Don't
There
be
you
a
go.
do nothing.
Do something.
bitch.
I don't care if it's wrong. Just
Do
it.
something. Yeah.
Do something.
Right.
You can do it.
I'm pretty sure.
I mean, it's a learning curve when you start getting into it, but like I went down such a rabbit hole and I started learning how to film, and when I started learning how to edit photo and video, and it's just like you get caught up in it and it gets fun. So then it's just another thing. It's another hobby to just keep going after. And it just
But Brian,
it's really
you-
grabbed me bad.
But Brian, like, and when when there's something that you like and you're, you want to put out a good product and stuff, good things come from it, right? Like
Right.
like your chat with Eric Massey, like you have a possibility to do something really cool in this upcoming fall.
Right.
And that's, you put out good content, and you just keep doing what you're doing, stay real to what you want, and then good things will happen. It's not going to happen overnight, I guess. And that's the biggest thing that people, because you're, as I say this, we're the exact same, but you see so many people that start up a social media page and a YouTube channel and all this. Dave and I are extremely lucky because this isn't like, we don't need this to put food on our table, right?
Right.
So, the long game we're completely okay with.
Yeah.
But if you are coming into this world, and Phil knows, because Phil does a lot of photography stuff, and Mark spends a lot of time on YouTube and does a lot of stuff in the chainsaw world and watching those kind of videos too. But like, if you think you're gonna hit it rich, or like, unless you are the luckiest person in the world to get that fireball on your first video, you are in for the long haul, because it's not going to happen overnight.
Yeah, well, it also depends on like what realm you're in too. Like for anybody that like started doing van life stuff like 3 years ago, that's what they're doing full time now, because that blew up. Everybody wanted to see people living in their vans and driving across the country, and then that got saturated. Well, same thing with like drag racing. There was a big kick of people that started filming themselves like building cars and drag racing. Then a couple people made it big and everybody wanted to do it because everybody has a drag car. You kind of fall into a niche, and like if that niche is big enough, eventually it's going to get oversaturated. But
Good point.
if you're consistent with it and you're conscious of the quality that you're putting out, you're always going to be a step above somebody. So like there's people that can film stuff on their phone and have 3 million subscribers. That's fine. But they were also like pioneering in those niches. So like it depends on what you have to get lucky at a point. But also if you're just if you're consistently doing something, you're going to see some return on it from, especially from YouTube, because that's how their algorithm works. But, you know, if you start up like a business or something, you can get lucky with that too. Or you could sit there and spin your tires for 10 years and then realize that there was no reason for you to get involved in it. And it can play out so many different ways, but you don't know unless you try.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I started filming weddings, I filmed one wedding and I was on YouTube for months learning how to film a wedding. So I'm a redneck. I don't know anything about filming weddings. And now I have a whole business dedicated to filming weddings. So like it pays for my house. Like
I'm a redneck. I've never been sober at a wedding.
You'd be so I've been at so many weddings where they're just like, oh, you want a drink? Or they come up and they like will Smirnoff ice me in the middle of filming something. I'm like, you bastards. Like I'm here trying to be professional and I'll get iced while I'm filming like a father-daughter dance. And I'm like,
there was a good icing on one of those fishing videos.
Oh,
they were fishing for like mahi, and they were like, oh, hopefully we can get a sailfish. And they're all like, oh yeah. Well, the one guy went to the bathroom, so then they reeled in his line, they attached a big weight to it, and they taped a Smirnoff ice to it and threw it back in the water. And then when he came back in, they're like, oh my god, fish on. He's reeling in, gets it in, looks at the weight and sees it, and he's
started swinging.
Good. Yeah, it was good.
That's crazy. Yeah,
boys, we're getting close to that 60-minute mark. So I think we'll start tidying things up here and ending this. But as usual, we could go on for hours and hours just shooting the shit. But Corey Baker's probably, I don't even know if Corey Baker even listens to us anymore, but it's still fun to throw his name out there.
He's shooting coyotes every day right now. Yeah.
What's that?
He's shooting coyotes every day.
Yeah, he is shooting. He's been shooting coyotes crazy. Fellas, let's do round the table. We'll give last words to Brian. Mark.
Good to meet you, Brian.
You too.
I heard about you after the last show. Of course, I missed it, but we got to get down to Ohio, where the waterfowling is the greatest in the U.S. So
yeah,
so everybody says
there and slay a ton of birds together.
Hey, buddy, I'm not, and so Mark is saying that, but we're planning a trip next fall. We're heading to Saskatchewan, and then once we're done Saskatchewan, we're heading south, and then coming across the states, making our way to Maryland. So
perfect.
Yeah,
I'll be ready for you.
We're doing it in Ohio.
You have 3 extra beds.
Better yet,
or a basement.
We're
not fussy.
I got
Damon
room.
And Brendan could share.
I got room. Don't you worry, boys.
Better yet, Brian, why don't you, like, then the Kingston boys can take their route. Why don't you meet me and just join us the whole time and film it, because we need a filmmaker.
Ooh, buddy, that would be insane.
There you go.
Yeah.
You have to coordinate that with Sean Stahl.
He can come too.
Yeah, Sean and Eric.
I guess.
Yeah, Sean Stahl and Eric Massey can tag along. R&T TV can tag along if they want, I guess.
If they tag along, then you might get me.
Yeah.
Brian will film, I'll shoot stills.
There you go.
You're not coming. You already said you're not coming. You're not doing any trips.
I've already used up all my tokens this year.
Anyways, sorry, took Merck's thunder there. He was doing his
Oh, all good. Carry on.
Phil.
Brian, pleasure as always again. To love following you on Instagram. And like, for those that don't know, Brian Ellithorpe Media.
Too Many Hobbies.
That too.
Thank you.
But yeah, like Brian's still work is amazing. And again, great having you on here again, Brian. Hopefully we'll cross paths this fall here in Ontario.
That'd be awesome. Thanks, Phil.
David.
Brian, it's good to actually like meet you here. We've talked a few times on the internet, but
yeah,
I do got to say there's been a couple things that we've talked about and you mentioned here that I really want to pick at. So for people that follow on Instagram or Facebook, You can tell how bad I'm bugging Brian by how quickly he unfollows me. Yeah, you'll see the unfriend. Yeah. So
No.
we're gonna keep a record here because I got some stuff that I want to know. Yeah. So
Hey,
yeah.
That's
works for
awesome.
me.
That's awesome. Brian, to you, buddy.
I appreciate you guys having me on. Like I said, anytime that you need somebody to come on and just ruin any kind of podcast schedule that you had, I can be that guy. But I appreciate you guys having me on. Let me talk about video and photo and YouTube and all that stuff. And yeah, I'll see if I can get up to Toronto.
Yeah,
in a
buddy.
month and a half.
Hey,
I'll
Craig,
do my best.
I know Craig Mintz is going to be listening to this because he has it playing on the shop floor. So, Craig, make sure you reach out to Brian and maybe you can stuff him in the trailer when you're coming across or something like that.
I'll say that anybody that's because you guys have a tough time getting some real geese decoys up there, right?
Nope.
Shipping and stuff like
Canadian
that.
Waterfowl Supplies has
Yep.
everything you'll want. If they don't have it in, just give him a shout. He'll get it in. Canadian
Craig
Waterfowl
will-
Supplies, buddy.
And Craig will
If he
ship, no
brings some,
problem.
then you don't have to worry about the shipping. So
There's other stuff that we have trouble getting, like bird dog whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
You would make a lot of friends if you brought a few bottles of that.
it's tough. I think it's like 3 or 4 miles for me to go to a liquor store here to get it. So
Yeah.
We'll pay your gas.
Yeah. Or you could walk.
3 or 4 miles.
Yeah.
And if you
That's like
happen
50
to bring,
kilometers.
Oh,
you happen to
okay.
bring some Yingling with you.
Yeah.
we
I got
listen,
Yingling
if
here.
I
man.
make it up, I'll bring it for you guys.
You're the
Oh,
best, buddy.
oh.
God bless you.
Okay, so
Wait 1 second.
okay.
Craig Mintz, I know you're watching, and you're probably one of the only people I know that watches right to the end. Good luck in your basketball coaching there, buddy.
Yeah, buddy.
We don't know the results because we film almost a week in advance. So I'm following along with that. Good luck, man. It's kind of neat to follow along and see the pictures.
Well, and to add on to that, doesn't he look handsome in his little sweater vest with his tie?
Oh shit.
Mr. Rogers.
Oh, Craig,
The little
buddy,
cardigan?
you look like a fucking professional coach. I'm just gonna throw that out there because with your vest on and your tie, you look the real deal, buddy. And I know
And-
those girls mean the world to you too.
That video of him going into the locker room after the game and they dump the water on him, like, unless you've ever coached into a big moment like that and know that emotion like that, it's pretty special. And I was very happy to see that he got that. That was good.
So another great episode, lots to take from this. Brian, the first time we had you on the show, we spent a lot of time talking about Brian Ellithorpe Media and Too Many Hobbies. Now you're a friend. So whenever you come on now, we're not going to talk a lot about Too Many Hobbies and Brian Ellithorpe because now we're just going to shoot the shit. But
That's fine.
But whenever you have something on the go, and something that you need the masses to know, if you need the millions of fans from the Union 0430 to know about, all you got to do, buddy, is reach out to us and we'll get you on. You're a big deal, so we can squeeze you in. So, buddy, thanks so much. This was a great episode. If I learned anything from tonight, it means I got to talk to Sean Stahl if I need now to get Brian to come and do anything for us because he's that big of a fucking deal now, apparently.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. No, buddy, congratulations. Nothing but the best to you. It
Thank
just
you.
goes to show, be a good person, do good things, and good things will happen to you. Surround yourself with good people, big love, and see you next time.